Okay, Thomas.
Yeah,
Thomas.
you gonna pop your video on? And it's Will. You know
Okay.
that.
Do you not go by Thomas?
No, not generally.
Okay, okay. Do your parents ever call you that?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. So full blown Will. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh. Okay. It is recording. I can't do my. What the fuck? None.
That's fine.
Yeah. 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 I don't. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to trim this too much. Yeah. Okay. All right. Is it okay? So, what did you think of this? Is not this is the end. It was a similar movie. This is the end, but this is called Don't Look Up. What did you think of it?
I liked it. Uh First of all, and I liked it more than I thought I would.
Oh,
Because
that was exactly how I felt. I was like, this movie could be some annoying nonsense that Netflix puts out every day, but it
right.
ended up being actually like really like satisfying. I was like, wow, a lot of like the boxes that I wanted to be checked in cinema were checked with this movie. It was actually like really surprising. And I'm not a big fan of the of Netflix. I'm not a big fan of Netflix movies. And this is probably the best Netflix movie I've seen that I can remember being made by Netflix or whatever.
Well, it's not made by Netflix, right? I mean, Netflix is just a network. So
Yeah,
it's,
no, that's
it's
a good
made
point.
by
All right, that's a good point.
it's
Yeah.
made by filmmakers, and the guy who made this is a director called
Adam
Adam
McKay.
McKay.
Adam
Yeah.
McKay. Yeah. And Adam McKay was Will Ferrell's sort of a partner in crime and writing partner. But then he had like a falling out with Will Ferrell over some issue, probably political, and so he made this movie kind of on his own. But he also directed it too, so that's kind of impressive that he jumped into directing. And I liked Leonardo DiCaprio a lot in this because Leonardo DiCaprio is always plays these lead characters. They're like really sort of bold and like center of attention kind of characters. But in this one, his character was so demure and insecure that it felt like he kind of like was had some awareness and made himself present as like a sort of a different cast of character. And I kind of was waiting for that for 10 years or so. And Jennifer Lawrence's character was kind of cool. Like I didn't expect her to be as hipster-ish as she was in this one.
The whole thing was really well acted.
Yeah,
That
that's definitely true.
that's one of the best things about this movie was the great casting and
I thought
uh,
Meryl Streep was who's that one? Helen Mirren. I thought she was Helen Mirren the whole time, and then I found out afterwards that it was Meryl Streep. And she looks so young in it. Like I thought she doesn't look like the 80-year-old Meryl Streep that we all know. Like she
well,
looks.
dude, Streep is gonna Streep, man.
Yeah,
She
there you go.
she's a fucking goddamn, method goddess. She can
She.
turn into anything she goddamn wants.
Oh yeah, she's powerful. She's like she has so much in her wheelhouse. It's like beyond what I can even imagine.
Yeah.
What did you think of the narrative that like the politicians are just like dumbasses, they're running the country into the ground and they don't care about anything except money and fame.
It's spot on. I mean that
There it seemed
on
like
like
it seemed unnaturally true. Like it was like you're watching it and you're like, this is like disturbing how true it is. Like it was almost a wake-up call for me at least.
yeah, the idea that this movie is like really woke or something. I didn't agree with that at all. I
Yeah, I
thought it
didn't think it was woke either. By
yeah.
although I did in retrospect, after I heard all the criticism about it, I thought of one scene that seemed woke. And it's not coming to mind, but it was Yeah, I can't. I'll remember it in a second. Remember in a second. I thought the Jennifer Lawrence character is a little outsized, but I don't think that made the movie bad. I think it actually made the movie kind of good, but I didn't see it coming. It was a total curveball.
Yeah, they could have taken that narrative in a lot of different ways that would have made it a lot more cringy. And instead they actually, it seems like they wanted to make, a good story out of it. Whereas like the Jennifer Lawrence character gets like super sidelined because she's not she
Yeah. I
doesn't
thought
pull well with the audience, as opposed to this sort of more demure scientist guy who's less of a firebrand and like is also like really awkward. But because of that, he doesn't get, because he doesn't spout out like she does, he gets
yeah,
all
he
the
fit the
screen time.
mold. Yeah, he fit the mold, and that was what they thought that he was like a good prototype for that kind of role that they're going to start. They it was weird. It was like you could tell that they were thinking long term for no fucking reason, right? They're like, oh, this guy is a good example of the kind of scientist we need at the network from here on out. And then we'll keep him around and try to figure him out. And then we'll find a replacement for him once he like, that you could tell that they were like manufacturing his entire thing. Like they're using him as like a case study, and then they're going to like replicate him by finding someone else to replace him. Like that was, you could tell that was their entire mentality, right? But then they,
Well, yeah, essentially they're all replaceable.
yeah,
That's sort of the larger um takeaway, is
yeah,
that
it was,
it is all a disposable culture. It doesn't matter, even though the world's about to end, which is like the overarching thing that gives the movie such great gravitas. Is like the fact that we all know eventually comet's going to come and wipe out all of humanity.
yeah.
And so everything they do in that meantime is like, so this is what you chose to do. Like it's a great human study.
Yeah, and it felt. I love that. It kind of felt like they were running a factory rather than a country. Like if everything was modular, it could be spun out into the shed, and then something else could be spun in. It was like nothing really mattered, and it just temporary, replaceable, like you said. It felt like it was like everything was a business or some aspect of one.
Yeah, which is exactly how the country is run. It's like it's a business. It's
Yeah, I
not
mean,
about,
you look at Biden, you look at Trump. I mean,
yeah.
maybe even Obama. They all kind of have this CEO persona, and it's all pretty gross.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
totally.
Even Clinton and Biden seem like the same person at this point to me.
Yeah, it's become so watered down and benign, uh, which is makes all sorts of sense when you're coming from a Trump presidency. It's like, of course, people want anything to kind of like feel back to normal, but then you get back to that and you realize that the back to normal is nothing. It's empty.
Yeah, like normacy is what we take for granted, and so it doesn't tend to have a lot of features that can be sort of thrown around. The and decorate and visualized and decorated in a work of art. What I found was really telling was that this movie was kind of set up like a sketch in
Yes.
like, but it went on for for like what, like 2.5 hours or something. And I felt like the fact that I didn't even like register for me that it was just like a sketch shows you how pressing and relevant it was.
Yeah. No, really. Yeah, they managed to strike a really interesting balance between drama and sort of a loose comedy. It's a new kind of movie, at least for these times, and for things that are being released to the general public, to the wider public. It definitely represented a nice shift that I would like to see go on. It brought me the greatest joy as that any like recent comedy movie has. Because another thing they did was they made a lot of non-woke jokes. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it was pretty like moderate. I felt like.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually like said a lot of shit that has been hard to say in mainstream shit for the last few years.
I'm definitely going to rewatch it because I felt like there was a lot of great writing in there, and especially at the beginning when he like used all this like astrophysics sort of lingo to make you feel like that there's some verisimilitude to it. The whole scientist shtick, but then
Yeah.
later on, there's all these quips about. I'm trying to remember some of the other characters. There's so many good characters. Like Jonah Hill's character was like really funny in it.
How about fucking Ron Perlman?
Oh yeah,
Can we give some love to fucking Ron Perlman right now? Because
oh my god, yeah, when he says that the Indians of India and the Indians they should combine forces.
Why didn't you guys ever team up? I love that fucking line. So like just like
the only thing I didn't like about him, the not him, but the character that they wrote for him was when the comet was hitting Earth, he like brought out his guns and started his shooting at the comet. I feel like that was sort of like a cheap blow.
That was a little cartoonish, but because it's still I mean it did fit with the character, and like that character didn't get, all the screen time he got was always like fucking great. He stole every scene. So like
and honestly, Ron Perlman isn't. I don't think of him as like someone who steals the show necessarily.
No, he usually isn't. Yeah. It's a great way to use him. They had some great casting choices, and like the way they used that cast, there's a lot of brilliance in this movie.
Yeah, did you notice I was surprised by Timothy Chalamet's sort of arrival.
Yeah. That
he's kind of an annoying actor to keep seeing all the time in movies.
Yeah, that I've sort of actively taken a stance of not seeing what he's in. But
I know he was in a Woody Allen movie recently, and I love Woody Allen's movies, but like I don't know, even he was like, it was like really like pushing it for me. And his love interest in the movie was literally Selena Gomez, and I was like, can it get any more like just like
right.
But Selena Gomez in this movie, I'm talking about, she really seemed like just like a sad girl. She's actually not a bad actress.
Right. But as far as his role in this movie,
I also didn't think that anyone would be wearing a Misfits shirt.
He was wearing a Misfits jacket.
A jacket, yeah, correct.
Which I remember when I saw that, I was like, he's supposed to be like some kind of street kid. Nobody can fucking afford like a leather jacket with a perfect vintage, like Misfits logo.
Like a $500 jacket.
That thing, that's a fucking he looks like Timothy Chalamet trying to look like a street bum. And
I know he looks like someone who's on magazines trying to look like a street bum.
That whole thing, that felt a whole bit forced. And then he's with them at the end, like he becomes like her like kind of chaotic boyfriend, like they're both like sort of chaotic good.
Yeah, characters. I didn't remember why she broke up with her other boyfriend.
Oh, because he like the Indian guy with the beard.
Yeah.
He like posted when she got all famous for yelling on TV. He posted like, "Hey, you see that girl who said we're all gonna die? I actually slept with her." And like he like
really
he turned that relationship into like a little bit of like social clout, like in order to like
he became like a YouTuber.
I don't know what happened with it. I don't think it like went far. I don't know how much they gave.
Yeah, that didn't really add up for me because I was like, okay, well, in real life, he probably wouldn't do that. or if he
I don't know.
did.
Yeah, but in real life, like, yeah, who knows? I would say like maybe she wouldn't have been with him to begin with, but
Yeah.
whatever. It's a movie.
And then what I didn't, the one thing I thought was a little too woke for me was, and this is like the one thing in the whole movie, mind you, was when she went to her parents' house and they're like, "Oh, please don't talk about politics," and then she leaves or something, or like, and then she's about to get killed by a comet, and she goes to like her professor's house to die instead of like her parents.
No, I think she did go in, didn't she?
No, she went in, but but then she didn't, when she went to die, she like went to her professor's house.
Well, yeah, because I mean, no, that didn't, because the idea about that was they were all sort of finding, like they were finding a family at the end that was
Yeah, I guess so.
like about,
More
like,
meaningful than parents or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, because her parents were like part of the Don't Look Up crowd.
Oh,
You know?
I know. And then I remember that they had the march or whatever, the rally, and then they find out
Yeah.
that they're being lied to or whatever.
Yeah,
And
they're
they-
like, yeah, I liked how they made it so literal, where it's like, it's right there. The comet's right there. Here it comes. We were telling you this, and then
They
like
just literally don't look
there's
up.
still a faction of people that like don't look up. It's a
Don't
lot,
look
like it's a like that's so like they're taking that idea of
And that's like the vaccine.
of
you know, it's
willful,
like,
yeah, exactly, willful ignorance. They're
You know what's
taking
crazy?
it to such a massive extreme, which is that's a good thing for comedy. That's
Well, you know what's
that was
really
great.
what's really crazy is this was a sort of the script was written before COVID even started.
Well, there you go. I mean, that just shows how much like this stuff was already on display before
Yeah.
COVID
Oh,
was
yeah.
an issue.
The writing was on the wall. And the other thing was that the characters were not especially they're like overly familiar. Like it was like eerie. Like, oh, like I know this person. The Jonah Hill character, the Meryl Streep character, like it was like, oh, we're like, it's like a Arrested Development. It felt like, oh, I know these people. Even though I've never met anyone like that really necessarily.
That's a great comparison. I like that relation. Yeah, say comparing it to Arrested Development is
Yeah.
is a good way to look at it. Yeah. Yeah, that, and you run a risk when you do that of being a little too on the nose, right? Like when you try and make characters that are so close to relatable ones, you have to be a really good writer to make them also have their own identity that takes them away from just being general.
Yeah, no, that's the art of it, really. I mean, it's anyone can write like the skeleton of a script, right? Where they're just like, oh, well, this is the bad guy, and he just says rude things. This is the nice guy, says nice things, and they do.
Yeah.
Anyone could do that. You could be a kid and do that.
And really, a lot of them do, and we've been seeing a lot of movies that have been far too much like that.
Skeletal, yeah, a lot of movies where it's a child could write it, basically.
Yeah. And instead we rely on, studio tricks and
what's a
stuff.
movie? I'm trying to think of a movie that was sort of like this, but totally flopped for me. Just like the antonym. I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot of the movies that come out these days are they're not the same topic, at least. I mean, at least the current, Hollywood's doing that right.
But they've been trying to do movies like this, and they've been failing.
And yeah, but what's a good example? Because I can't. I mean, obviously there's Idiocracy, but that was a while ago.
But that was a good. That's like a movie that's comparable to what this movie's doing.
Yeah, but this movie is better than Idiocracy. I mean,
I think for its time it is. I think Idiocracy at the time was every bit as
Oh,
as
really?
important as good as this is now. Yeah, are you kidding? I mean,
Yeah, that's a good
nobody's
point.
referenced. Everybody's referenced Idiocracy in the last couple of years because it's been perfectly on point with the things that are going to happen.
I thought it was really tired when I watched it. I was like, okay, these are like maybe that's just because I was watching it after the fact. I was like,
Yeah,
it
it
just
came out a while ago.
yeah, it seemed like they kind of repeated themselves a lot. But this is the thing. I mean, maybe I'll be saying that about this movie in 10 years, 5 years.
Yeah, right. You don't know what you don't know. So whatever
Yep.
comes out next, whatever new problems there are.
Oh, what was great was the Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk character, or whatever it was, the
The
tech
the,
dude.
the tech guy played by Mark Rylance.
Who do you
Fucking
know? Are you familiar with the actor? Like, is he in other stuff?
yeah. Oh, he's like a proper Shakespearean. That performance was one of the best, one of my favorites in the movie.
What's his name?
Mark Rylance.
Mark Rylance. Oh wow, that's a funny last name. Bridge of Spies.
Yeah, no, if you look at his face, you'll recognize.
Oh, he's the Wolf Hall actor. Holy shit.
Yeah. No,
Oh
this guy's no
wow.
joke.
Wow. Have you
Yeah.
seen Wolf Hall?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure I have.
That's a really good mini series. It only had lasted one season, but it was based off a book that would have basically been like 4 or 5
Perfect.
seasons.
I like one season things actually.
If yeah, but it failed. If it should have been like
Oh yeah, I did see this. He plays
Thomas
uh
Cromwell.
Thomas Cromwell. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, this was great. This was very good. I remember this now.
Yeah, and it was a really subtle. The acting he did, Martin Rylance did in the miniseries was really subtle.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. This is one of my favorite roles. Yeah. Good call.
And in this movie, I love when he's like he calls him Leonardo DiCaprio calls him like a businessman or whatever, and he's like a businessman. You think
yeah, he takes such offense to it. Like I'm trying to improve humanity. Like how dare you? How dare you? Like it just gets so diva on him, and you could totally see that being the reaction of like some tech bro or one of these tech
Devo was does that
now.
mean like devolved kind of, or does that mean like the band Devo?
Wait, what?
You just said he gets so Devo on him.
Did I say Devo?
What did you say? Yeah, you said he gets so Devo.
No, I didn't say Devo, but I don't remember what it was I said.
I like it sounded like you were saying like he gets so devolved on him. I like that way of it's a neologism.
Right.
But yeah, and he gets like and then his shit fails. Like they shoot the rockets or whatever, and they like break the crust a little bit, but then they don't get to the core and it doesn't splinter.
Right, because he was the whole time that he was with them, he was trying to get them to listen to like the peer-reviewed science that was disputing, like their
honestly, I think
that was a big message in the movie was, you have, peer-reviewed science is a thing for a reason. And all the hype and money you want doesn't make the thing you want true or
and he predicted how he dies, and he predicted like his health, his like colonoscopy or whatever the fuck.
Right, because he had the algorithm was smart enough to do that.
Hernias. I don't know.
Predicted that she was going to be eaten by some creature, like of
sea
some
monster,
and he didn't know what the name, what the thing was. You're like, oh, you're going to be eaten by a Galangathorpe or whatever it was.
Like, wait, what was this?
You don't remember that?
No.
It was like the anchor woman chick.
Oh gosh, wow.
Who was banging Leo DiCaprio's.
Why would she be eaten by a Galangathorpe?
Well, you remember the end, right?
Were there dinosaurs come back to life?
You didn't watch there's like a mid-credit scene.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so like it ends, and then like in the mid-credits they land on a new planet. Like all the people who went away in the spaceship.
Yeah, the 1%.
Yeah. They land on some Pandora kind of looking Felucia from Star Wars looking place.
Dude, I haven't heard
And-
Felucia mentioned in a while.
And they're wandering around like naked, and they're like, and you see like all the pods, like some of them are crashing, and when they break off from the ship, like the ship kind of buckles, like, so it's all, like kind of failing, like they were doing earlier in the movie, like even in their.
That wouldn't even have been possible, dude.
It's very, I mean, they would have had to be in cryo sleep for
like 1,000 years
of years, which is what they apparently did, like they say that they can be in cryo sleep for at least that long in the movie. But
that's hella funny. I didn't know that they actually landed somewhere and then she just gets crushed.
And then there's like these, there's this whole scene. There's actually like this, it ends on a scene of her walking up to like this bird, like this weird bird lizard creature that's like like eating things around, and they're like, oh, okay, and the tech guy gets out and he's like, I think it's gonna be all right here, like in his voice he was doing, like that accent was just so funny in that movie.
I know, he seemed like such an airhead or a space cadet.
Like, right, just like inhuman, like they all seem like just some kind of
I
weird,
know, man.
like,
and if you watch like
robot.
an Elon Musk interview, he's kind of starting to seem like that in his own way, a special way.
It's this weird, like tech sort of robotic.
He seems like an actual Martian who like is visiting Earth and telling people to come. Like, it's an ambassador.
Why should we not go to Mars? We should be.
That was spot on, dude. Kudos. No, I saw an interview with him recently, Elon Musk, and he was saying that to get to actual planet that you can just like chill out like in vacation and stuff and like actually live is just impossible at this point. It's like way too difficult. So like all Elon Musk is trying to do is get people to go to Mars and the moon or whatever. And like that is like, who the fuck is that gonna, you literally have to terraform Mars in order to like make it. I don't know. It seems like a fool's errand a little bit.
Yeah, no, it is, but it's also like it only, the things that like Leonardo da Vinci was proposing at his time were also very like out of his world. Like they were not possible with the technology of his time. But at the same time, they were not, foolish designs whatsoever. They were just not possible then. And I think that's kind of what he's doing. He's putting forward ideas of what we're going to be thinking of in the near future. Maybe not right now.
I mean, you need someone to be pushing the envelope and getting these things like, lifted into space.
Yeah.
But like,
that's where it's going to go that way eventually.
I think I'm talking about myself in a way, because I was thinking, oh, Elon Musk's going to help us get to a, hospitable planet where we can have a second Earth 2.
No, I mean, that's not going to happen in our lifetime.
Yeah.
He's going to help that happen in the future.
Yeah. So now I'm freaked out a little bit. Now I'm like, oh, this is the only place we can live.
Yeah.
I literally thought
we'll be fine here, man. There's plenty of shit here.
I literally thought that we could just go to another planet and just chill out because Elon Musk.
Well,
I literally was thinking that, like, I was like, oh, we just build a rocket and just shoot it.
Even he doesn't think that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like I watched this interview and I'm like, oh, even this guy is saying you can't do that. Fuck.
Yeah.
My whole approach is going to change now. Gosh. Yeah.
No, I signed up for whatever it was called, the Mars One project.
Oh yeah, but isn't that like a lottery?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, if the certain amount of people would be selected to go on like a one-way trip.
But didn't you have to pay? Didn't you have to pay to?
No.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was like a guaranteed one. Like you will certainly not be coming back, and you may well die on the trip. But I was like, yeah, no, not even thinking about it for a second. I'm doing that.
Dude, I need to.
Of course.
It'd be funny if they were just like, yeah, you will die 100%, but you'll get to see some crazy shit, and I think that's worth it.
Mm.
That would be a cool one if they just try to be like, yeah, you'll die, but like, you'll get to like write it in like a log briefly.
Yeah. What a way to fucking die. Yeah, out in like interstellar fucking.
Like that's like the Marine Corps version of like space travel.
Yeah, right. Or like being a kamikaze pilot. I've been watching a lot of I've been looking lately into a lot of like Japanese perspective.
I'm sure they were just indoctrinating them into suicide, martyrdom.
But a lot of them also really knew. I mean, like a lot, like more than you think. They were not like that fanatic, but it just like had to. Like, it's so hard to explain. Like, it was such a unique. We're probably getting off the subject of
the movie. Well, I mean, no, I see what you're saying. That's comparable to being an astronaut on a death. What's it called? What are they called? A life risk mission, suicide mission.
Yeah, potential suicide mission or guaranteed one. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? What's it called when it's like a devil may care kind of situation, or it's like a to hell and back kind of thing, like where it's zero or nothing. It's like everything or nothing.
Zero sum game. Yeah.
Maybe wait. The zero sum game is something else. That's when you just don't get anything out of it.
That's when it's all or nothing.
Oh, is it really a zero sum game?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
But yeah, just the idea of like a soldier, going all the way.
No, a zero sum game is when someone's loss is someone else's success or their gain.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's one all for one and one for all, as in one person wins and the other loses entirely. Yeah. Which is, I think that's close to what I was saying, but.
Oh, that's I think that's from the Three Musketeers, all for one, one for all.
Yes, it is.
Those guys were cool because okay, this is really off topic now. Literally talking about another type of literature, but the Three Musketeers was cool because it was kind of like the original, like it almost seems like there wasn't anything like it before. Like, we always have the Three Amigos, and you have the other, like there's other things that there's like a trio, right? But like the Three Musketeers seems like almost like the first one, kind of. But yeah, but this one, I was really impressed by Leonardo DiCaprio's acting because he
he as usual, he knocked it out of the fucking park.
But I mean, he knocked it out of the park, but he did it in like I guess that's what it takes. But he did it.
He's a really dynamic guy. I mean, he can really flex his shit, dude. You got to give him credit for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I was like some
of his roles are limited, though. Let's be real. Some of his roles were pretty limited.
Oh, plenty of them have been, yeah. But that only goes to show how good he's become when he's been able to flex his muscles, and we've seen a lot of that, in the last
it's true. A lot of the
10
best
and
actors,
5 years.
Once they get their Oscar, like once they get like their best actor Oscar, they actually get better later on because the pressure is off and they can kind of just do what they want.
Well, I really think he wasn't given that many great roles for a long time. I don't think
Really?
he was not capable of it. He's been a consistent performer.
Yeah, there's not a lot of that.
From the
You think
first
they
time
gave
I
it to
saw
like
him.
Daniel Day-Lewis instead, or something, like someone who was a British person, maybe like who, Christian Bale, maybe. Like who do you think they were gunning for back in the day, as opposed to him?
What, as far as casting?
Yeah, well,
Well,
yeah,
he looked like a young kid. That kind of worked against him for a long time, right?
sure.
He was kind of too cute. Like, think about him in Titanic,
Well, yeah, he was like, he was a kid when that movie came out. Holy shit.
right? But it's easy to overlook his acting talents when you're in a role like that, because people who see that are going to think he's just in it because he's cute.
Yeah,
But
but there's
and that followed him. That reputation followed him
I'm
for
not,
a
yeah, for
while,
sure, for sure. It did follow him, but I don't really
and so it
associate
took
him
him
with
a
that
long
movie.
time to get into critics' good graces, even
I'm
though
not
he had
sure the
been
new
talented the
generation
entire time.
though, like the Z's and like the Zoomers and stuff. I don't think they associate him with Titanic. I mean, it's just so long ago. I think they associate him
No,
maybe.
no, no, I don't think they do now, which is why he's getting more recognition and better roles now.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Some of these actors who are still alive have been so many things. Michael Caine is like, there's no one
Yes.
second to none, really. Like, I'll watch movies from the '60s, and it's like, oh, Michael Caine's in this fucking movie. Wow.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't get nearly enough. You don't hear about him uh, hardly at all, and he's
well, he did. He was the butler in the Batman. Yeah,
yeah, sure.
I guess
But
that's kind of, yeah. It's
he
kind
was
of
also he was gold. He was uh fucking
Alfred.
no, yeah. But I mean, what is it? Mike Myers.
Was he? Oh no! Oh, he was his dad. He was Gold member.
Right? Not
Gold
gold
member,
member.
dude. Oh yeah,
No,
he has some good lines there too. Like, I hate
he was
anyone.
Austin Powers. He was Austin Powers' father.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah. Oh no, you're right. He wasn't Gold member though. Yeah, yeah, but he was his dad. It was the movie Gold member though.
Yeah.
And he had this great line like, "Oh, I hate two kinds of people: those who are intolerant to the cultures and attitudes of others, and the
And the
Dutch."
Dutch. Yeah. I love that line. That was fucking great.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good actor because when he's angry, he like kind of looks like he's spitting. Like he has this like way of talking. He like spits, and it kind of gives it's like a distinct way to be angry that a lot of people don't express. I don't know, is that weird? I feel like that's a pretty salient thing to say.
How can we bring this back around to the subject of this cast? Apparently, if we're going to be talking about a thing, shouldn't we talk about the thing?
Yeah, no, yeah, we got off track, but you don't agree that he has a certain. All right, all right, we can go
Certain
back. We
what?
can go back if you want. I mean, I was just trying to be validated, and then we can go back.
Wait, a certain. I still know what you mean. What
No,
kind
when
of
Michael
certain?
Caine has a distinct when he's acts like he's angry or something, he kind of looks like he's spitting,
Right.
and that
Yeah,
that
he
kind of gives
starts
him a
to kind
certain.
of like harden his.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's castable because it's unusual.
Because of his Cockney accent. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's
No, but yeah, he wasn't in this movie, unfortunately. Although there wasn't a lot of British people in it at all, actually. So no, and I like that they were like, "Oh, Michigan State, like what the fuck's that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's actually really good astronomy." It's like, no, Michigan State, fuck Michigan State. and then they get all the fucking Ivy League people. They're like, "Oh no, the Michigan State people were right." They had like the academic politics in this movie. Man, you're making me want to have a cigarette now. Shit. But
oh, you were watching me?
yeah, I can see your every move.
Mr. Panopticon.
Yeah, well, there's only one Opticon here. Monopticon.
Yeah, I guess that's
And it's your webcam, bro. Just remember.
That's true. I'm allowed to do this.
If you're gonna Jeremy Bentham me, you better know what you're talking about.
You mean Jeffrey Tubin?
I don't know who that is. I don't know most Jeffreys.
Oh, you're missing out. There's some pretty interesting Jeffreys out there.
All right. Okay, now I think we do need to cycle back.
Jeffrey Tubin was the guy who jerked off in a Zoom call.
I'm telling you, man, all the Jeffreys are perverts. Too. Jeffrey Tubin, Jeffrey Dahmer.
But he was like watching porn like on a side thing. He was just like being like he was so bored in the Zoom call that he just like started
just like Jeffrey Dahmer, dude. So bored with his Zoom call, he started cutting people up and eating them.
I guess neither are as bad as Jeffrey Epstein, but
that's a good one. Who's worse, Jeffrey Epstein or Jeffrey Dahmer? That's a good one.
Yeah, that could be fault.
That could be hard. I'm gonna go to the bar and ask people that.
Yeah, that's not.
Maybe not.
That's a good icebreaker.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I really liked about this movie was also the sort of awareness for different regional attitudes and stuff. Like I love that like the astronomers are all in like the Midwest for some fucking reason. Like it seems so arbitrary. Like, oh, they're from Michigan State. And then they lived in like Illinois.
Well, why not? I mean, that's just where they were from. It doesn't mean like it's not like. I mean that's just an artistic choice, I guess, to like make them all from one place.
Well, I think it's
who found it because they were the ones who saw the fucking comet. It's not like all asteroid or all scientists are from there, but in this story, they just happen to be from there.
No, it was yeah. No, it was a good I think it was just really like something about Michigan that like you kind of agree with. You're like, oh, Michigan, okay, that's a place that's like
right. Yeah, it's a benign, like they're just seen as like sort of benign, everyday folks that like have no.
Yeah, like if it was Nebraska, you would be like, well, that's a little bit Trump country, like, or like I don't know if this movie's gonna be any good if it's already like it's really on the nose and like kind of one note. If they just start talking about Nebraska and shit, you get tired of it.
Well, that's why I think those characters played so well, is because they seemed, not of one side or the other. They were just of reason.
The side of reason.
That's the best thing you can take out of this movie, really. If there's one good takeaway, it's that, reason prevails over
it prevailed too late.
Fanaticism and extremism.
It prevailed in the end, and then it got exterminated.
Well, reason prevails because it was true. It's like, even though, it prevailed because the comet did hit. So even though it was like no one prepared and everyone died, except the worst people, it still was true. So reason
I didn't understand how the planet like you'd think that someone would have survived, right?
Well, not necessarily, no. I mean, with an impact of that size, what they're talking about, that's pretty much an extinction level event. You'd have to be off the planet.
I mean, I guess the bacteria would live, but like
but humans couldn't. Definitely some life wouldn't survive. Absolutely.
I guess it's just the shock waves or whatever. I mean, I don't even know, but like
that exactly, the shock waves.
It's like a tsunami of the air.
Even if you had an underground bunker, super absorbed.
That's what I'm saying is you have a really deep bunker.
Nuclear resistant bunker, like down, hundreds of feet in the ground, you're still getting shattered.
I don't know, man. The dinosaurs never had that. So
well, that's not why they died. They And by the way, the meteor they're talking about in the movie is like twice as big as the one that
really?
hit in the dinosaur. Yeah, they
Oh.
say that at one point. And that killed the dinosaurs mainly because it killed all the crops. That was
Oh, dude, the
it
Ariana
created a
Grande.
nuclear an asteroid or a nuclear winter scenario.
Oh, it destroyed the vegetation.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that level, that kind of comet would have such a seismic event. I mean, if and plus, not to mention the nuclear winter that would follow. So
yeah, but with all the processed foods, man, I feel like some people would survive for like the 20 years or whatever
if
it takes.
if you had like the most advanced bunker possible that was on the exact opposite side of where the impact was. So you had
I mean, it's like it's anything's possible, It's just
that could be, it could potentially.
And then you had spam and rice, and you're just like some old pineapple, just some canned peaches.
And a whole harem of breeding sows.
Yeah, some Arabian princesses, yeah,
a typewriter. Populate the earth.
Yeah, typewriter with 100 monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
you could speak. You could repopulate the world to speak German. The world would reemerge as a German-speaking nation.
Agriculture could be done quite easily. Animals would be bred and slaughtered.
Oh yeah, you just fucking accents,
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Is that Dr.
Yes.
Angela? Okay.
Yeah.
I've only seen that once.
I've seen that so many times. It's probably my favorite movie, actually.
I mean, it's a good movie. Do you like Kubrick? Are you a big fan of 2001?
I'm the biggest Kubrick fan.
Guys, I respect that because a lot of people like talk shit about Kubrick. It kind of gets annoying.
Well, they're fucking foolish because Kubrick is a fucking master.
I know, and they talk enough shit that you sort of agree with them. You're like, yeah, I can see what you're saying, but at the back of your mind, you're like, God, they're talking shit about Stanley Kubrick, really?
No, that's like talking shit about the Beatles. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit, and they know it. They're just trying to be fucking edgy.
Well, I like Zeppelin more than the Beatles, but maybe that's just because I'm more of like a punk.
Well, no, I mean Zeppelin is a fantastic band, but the Beatles are like, as a historian, I have to give it to the Beatles because there is no Zeppelin without the Beatles.
Yeah, they definitely the foundational rock group.
Yeah,
that's sort of
why I give it
in
to
the direction
they're the most influential.
There's the most influential for sure.
Yeah,
and also like after Zeppelin ended, there weren't like that many more good bands. Like I mean, they kind of lived through like the high point for rock, Zeppelin, and then they had some 80s.
As far as like the big superstar rock bands.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, Van Halen, kind of carried on after them.
Van Halen petered out though in like the mid 80s.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I like the 5150, but I don't think like the rest of the Hagar albums are brilliant.
Yeah, no, good big stadium rock didn't last very long.
Why do you think? You think it just became too feminized, or do you think it became too MTV took it out? Wasn't
just like anything, any good movement that starts with good intentions and it works for a while, and then it becomes appropriated by just like like the hippie movement or the beatniks.
Well, the weird thing with the hippie movement is that kind of exists still in pockets. Like you can kind of go to like Eugene.
Yeah, real hippies exist still, but back in like the 60s, it was a thing that was like a grassroots event, and once like the mainstream audience like got aware of it.
Oh yeah.
Then corporate America started to take notice, and that now they're making like hippie looking clothing, and and making
Yeah,
and
like LA
make
hippies.
records that are like hippie sounding, but they're just to capitalize on
I know,
the
I know exactly what you mean. Like sometimes you go to the desert and there's like hippie people, but it's like they're driving these like gas guzzling cars in the desert, wasting water and shit. You're like, is this really like the hippie spirit? I don't know. Seems kind of confusing to me. Kind of confused, right?
well, no, I mean, yeah, no, most people in like so-called hippie, like they're more it's more like better described by counterculture. Hippie means that it has certain like environmental and like woke aspects built in, but most of those people are not what you call hippie. They're just counterculture. They're just kind of rebels.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's like they're like farmland punks or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're just outside of
But
mainstream
yeah,
society.
no, and the of course the what'd you think of Ariana Grande as a sort of appearance cameo, sort of? I don't know what you call it.
Oh yeah, right. I didn't even. Yeah, I knew I recognized her. I didn't know that
She
was.
played herself. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that. I liked the only reason I liked it. I didn't care that it was her. It could have been anyone for my, as far as I cared. But uh, they could have easily had some whoever actress play some influencer. That
Yeah.
would have made the same difference. But I mean, it was funny as a joke. Like I didn't like, they went a little far with like having the song go up for all that time. Like the song was pretty cringe. I didn't like listening to that, but like it seemed like it was done in an idiocracy sense, where it's like this is not like, which is funny why it's like two actual entertainers played those people who are like
Oh,
exactly
who is the male?
uh Kid Cudi.
Was it? Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. Who's actually like he was the band leader on a season of Comedy Bang Bang, the TV show. And so
Okay.
like
Does he
he's
play
been in.
instruments?
Oh yeah, well, I think so. I don't know. He's at least a musician. I don't think
Because
he's.
if you call him he's called a band leader. It sounds like he knows how to play some instruments.
Well, band leader on Comedy Bang Bang was kind of a joke band leader. Like
Sure, sure.
the whole show, like everything was a joke in that show.
Is that show still on? I thought it was still on.
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
They had 5 seasons.
Oh, did you ever
like,
watch Opie and Anthony?
No.
See, I feel like you'd like that.
I think I would. Yeah, I know that it's like Stern.
It's like Stern, but Stern is a little bit more like, hey, I'm a cool guy. Like, let me like look at how cool my friends are. Let's talk about tits and make like
Open Anthony's more like kind of like a podcast, right?
Yeah, it's more like a podcast. Yeah, there's a lot of like hooting and hollering and like there are kind of arguments and stuff. Stern didn't really have any arguments. Like it was like, yeah, I don't really agree with you, Howard. And Howard's like, well,
Yeah,
okay.
he's like the dictator.
And it's like, well, I guess I don't understand why you don't agree with me. Gosh, I'm just such a nice guy, So I feel kind of offended. Mwah. Like Howard is just like kind of acting like he was like omniscient the whole fucking time. But on Opie,
which he was. I mean, like in his world,
he was pretty smart.
He made something that like is pretty you gotta respect it.
No, and he was in the 80s. He was like a cool, like he was like a rebellious kind of guy. He just got really square for some reason.
Well, he grew up.
Yeah, he grew up. Yeah, serious. But then Opie and Anthony is they will literally like they will be like, I don't fucking like you anymore. It's almost like they're dating or something. It's weird. It's like, yeah, I don't fucking like you. I don't want to be in the room with you.
Well, yeah, they like split up a while.
Yeah. No, notoriously, yeah. But it's good because the shit you find on YouTube is like all the arguments, and then like all the dead air shit is not on YouTube. You know what I mean?
I gotta run and take a piss.
All right. Hey, let me get a drink. I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Are you gonna pause the thing or are you just gonna edit this out?
I'm gonna pause recording.